Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
The reason Mayberry, Andy of Mayberry, was so peaceful and quiet was, and I just read this the other day, because nobody was married. Think about it. Andy, Aunt Bee, Barney, Floyd, Howard, Goober, Gomer, Sam, Ernest T. Bass, Helen, Thelma Lou, Clara, and of course Opie were all single. The only married person was Otis, and he stayed drunk all the time. Morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a Patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning. Good morning. And a good morning to you and yours. Good morning on a Monday, the first Monday of December, as we're now 21 days away from Christmas. Yep. Hey, Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And get ready for wintertime driving like yesterday. And don't forget, too, some of our great advertisers like Western Way Services, always at your disposal. Call them at 734-6969. Right now, let's go to the phone line and have a true patriot give us our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning. You're on the air. Go.
Well, good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That a boy, Wheels. Thank you. And right now, let's go to the weather forecast brought to you by K&R Rental. Hello, Roger and the crew. Over at K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn on the Burley Paul Highway. Number to call, 678-3122. And if you need tools or any kind of equipment to finish a construction project, you'd better keep them in mind. Not only do they have the tools and equipment, they've got the knowledge to help you to make sure you get the right thing. Okay? K&R Rental, 678-3122. Right now, here comes Gina with the weather.
Here's your weather forecast for the first Monday of November, and it is going to be on the windy side for today. We are looking at mostly sunny skies. Winds out of the west, 8 to 15 miles an hour. Gusts possible as high as 25 miles an hour. Looking at a high of 34 today. Tonight, mostly clear skies, cold. Low right around 15. Still slightly breezy for tomorrow. Sunny skies, still on the breezy side, high of 34 tomorrow night. Patchy freezing fog after midnight. Other than that, mostly clear skies with a low right near 15 for Wednesday. Looks like patchy freezing fog before noon. Sunny skies, high of 35 for Wednesday night. Mostly clear with a low of 15. And for Thursday, sunny and a high of 37. That's your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Gina, thank you. Brought to you by Roger and the crew at K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn on the Burley Paul Highway. They do have all the tools and equipment you need. Give them a call. Stop in, 678-3122. I've got some personal notes I need to take care of in just a few moments, but before we get to that, I want to remind you that Denny's annual Christmas party is going to be held in 2 weeks, December 14th from 8 to 11. Door prizes, Santa Claus. Register for a recliner from Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland and Burley. We've got the entry box right there at the cash register at Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland and Burley. Burley. You just sign your receipt, put your phone number on that. You might be the lucky winner of that beautiful Flex Steel men's recliner, compliments of Lee's Furniture, and we're going to give it away at our remote broadcast on Thursday, December 14th. You get in there today and eat at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner, and that's at 611 North Overland in Burley, and also at 291 Pole Line in Twin Falls. Ooh, good food. Lots of fun at Denny's Restaurant. We have quite a few things to talk about this morning. This is National Cookie Day. I'm not making this up. And here I am in my studio without any sugar cookies whatsoever. I like the plain sugar cookies, the ones just with a little bit of sugar on them. That's all. I don't like the icing and all that stuff. But this is National Cookie Day, and at 8:30 we're going to give away a dozen cookies to Sophie's Chatterbox, so stay tuned for that. Don't forget to Burley Livestock. They got a sale coming up this Thursday. We'll talk more about that tomorrow on the program. But I also want to remind you about Daryl's Cleaners. Oh, my goodness sakes. You put all your stuff away for the hunting trip. You rolled up your sleeping bag with all the Cheetos and the salsa and everything else. Oh, boy, you better go get them clean now. And they can really help in the restoration of items, too. And when I take my clothes in there, it's a real renovation project. Because, man, I'll tell you what, all the rumply crumplies, and they come back looking brand spanking new. Oh, my. They are the best. And if you don't have time to do your own washing, they can do it for you. Wash, dry, fold, and iron all your clothes. Daryl's Cleaners at 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. You stop in and see those good folks today. Got some notes here that I need to take care of as I knock my microphone over. The second annual Mickey Claus Day for children is going to be December 16th from 10 a.m. to 2 at 323 First Street in Rupert. $5 admission, includes a gift. There are photos. You can take those. For questions, call 436-0987, and the proceeds go to a very worthwhile cause, and that's the Minnecasia Shelter Incorporated Advocates Against Violence. Second annual Mickey Claus Day for children on December 16th. I'll have more on that a little bit later. Quickly, Ramsey Heating and Electric for all your heating and electrical needs. My, they're located at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, open at 7:30 in the morning till 5, Monday through Friday. Yeah, you know what? It's got a little chilly. A little chillier. It's got a whole bunch colder. And yesterday I just snuggled up next to my furnace and the vents and everything. It was cold. And they've got all your air filters for your furnace. Make sure it's got a clean air filter and can work efficiently for you. Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Really, really good folks. I am on the air this morning with a touch of sadness, and I mean that, for the losing of a good friend. And that good friend is Garth Greenwell. I know the family lives around the area in Oakley and over around Paul and other places, but I just want to extend my condolences. Garth was a very, very good friend of mine. And a lot of people, and I'm going to really bare my chest on something, a lot of people criticize me for not going to hospitals, etc., to see people. And I apologize. I have a real problem with hospitals because I've been in them so many times on the receiving end. And Garth passed away this last week, and we had ridden a lot of miles together, gathering cattle, and he was a very, very good friend. And I just want to say to the family and all of his friends, etc., he will be missed. He was quite a guy. And one of my last saddle partners that we rode with quite a bit, gathering over the many years. And Garth, I know you're up there with the big man in heaven this afternoon or this morning, and we wish the rest of the family the best. Very tough. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I appreciate a call. Don't forget to Pomerell Place, a place for senior living. I don't want you staying at home if you're all by yourself. And you don't get the best of nutrition. You don't bake the best of meals. You don't take your medication. And it's really lonely being alone. And so this may be the place for you. Senior living offers the ability for seniors to maintain their independence both safely and comfortably. Pomerell Place at 1301 Bennett Street in Burley, a place for senior living. Number to call, 677-8212. Caller, good morning, and thank you for calling in.
Well, good morning to you too, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
You know, I got a letter in the mail Saturday, and it was from the Republican Party, and they said, attention, the truth about the American Party, the Republican survey. And so I thought, oh, this is interesting. So I opened it up, and there was a questionnaire about how I lived and this and that and the other, and then at the end they asked for your opinions. And my opinion was, sorry, I can't send you a contribution because I don't have any money.
Yeah.
Because my retirement is a farce, and the fact that I didn't have any money left after I closed my business and paid everybody. And the trouble of our government is most, I shouldn't say most, but a great deal of the recipients of welfare have a better standard of living than I do. And I said, for this reason, can't help you this time.
Well, I received the same thing in the mail, and my attitude is such that until any party gets their act cleaned up, and it's going to take a big broom and a dustpan, I'm not going to supply them with any of my money, which I find very hard to come by right now. As we get older, a lot of people think that, oh, well, you're living on easy street. Well, no, sometimes you're living on poverty row because you don't have the income coming in, et cetera, and your standard of living does go down and is depleted. I'm a little sick and tired of being told that I should contribute to this, should contribute to that. Right now, as far as political movements are concerned and everything, no. They better clean up, like I said, their act. They get no support from me whatsoever.
Well, you know, the Idaho survey says that the poverty level is about $53,000.
Yeah.
I never made that much money before in my life. You know,
well, my goodness.
About this poverty.
Yeah.
These people don't know what they're talking about.
Isn't it interesting?
You live in Boise and work for Micron or some big company like that. Yeah, you might make that much, but you don't in Burley, Idaho.
Keith, I can't even add anything to that. Thank you for your call, my friend. You made me smile this morning. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Okay.
All right. God bless. Thank you.
Bye.
Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to talk about the ACLU honoring Colin Kaepernick. When I heard this, caller, I'll be right with you in a minute. Stand by. 30 seconds for one, 30 seconds for another. I'll be back in a minute. Don't forget Dino's Septic Service in Rupert. Oh, I've said this, and a lot of people have called me and said, give us the number, and I did. But they do the job at Dino's Septic Service that you and I don't want to do. No, septic tanks pumped and sewer and sink drain lines cleaned. No, I don't want to do it. And, of course, liquid waste removal, water and sewer lines installed. They do it all, and they do it with a smile on their face, fast, fair, friendly service. You give them a call today, 436-6526 in Rupert or in Burley, 678-1638. Dino's Septic Service with that great big old truck that says, smells cargo on the way. Nice people. Hey, don't forget, coming up on, not this Monday, next Monday, great big stock cow sale at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard starting at high noon on Monday, the 11th of December. Big stock cow sale. And they're taking consignments. Call Merv May, Cade Rocky, or Lance Udy. Get a hold of them today. They're expecting well over 200 young cows, 150 middle-aged cows, all kinds of cows at this big cow sale. Coming up next Monday, the 11th of December at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Thank you.
Yes, good morning, Zeb.
Hello, Tony.
I just heard that gentleman on the phone. I have to say I agree with everything he said. And when I go down to my local market here in Twin, and I see people pulling out that Idaho card,
yeah,
and they're driving away in brand new 250s, and then I look at my 14-year-old Explorer parked next to him. It makes me feel warm and cuddly.
No, it doesn't. You're lying to me, you great friend of mine, because it makes you as mad as it makes me. I just want to punch my fist through a wall. I'm driving a 14-year-old pickup. I'm driving a 5-year-old car, and some of these people are living on a fat hog that I've bought for them to butcher.
You know, we haven't had people on retirement haven't had a cost of living increase in 4 years. But you try not giving these people on welfare a cost of living increase. Wow, you're going to see all kind of lawsuits going on.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I don't care what I say on this program as long as it's the truth. I'm fed up with the system the way it is right now because it absolutely treats these people with golden gloves while those golden gloves are picking your pocket and mine.
That's right, and he was talking about getting all these ads about asking money for the Republican Party, and Mary and I do the same thing, and we've got a shredder full of paperwork from the Republican Party asking for money, and they're not going to get a damn cent out of us.
Well, I think I know where you stand, but I don't shred them. I don't. I send them back. I always send them back with nasty little notes. Maybe nobody reads them. I don't know, but it makes me feel better.
Well, when I see the perks these guys are getting up there and the money they're making for lying and all this sexual stuff that's going on, I'm really disgusted.
Well, we all should be. And we all should demand a huge cleanup of everything that's going on Washington, D.C., right along the Potomac. Actually, I think that what we should do is go back there, and if their name is on the list for using some of that hush slush fund, we just throw them in the river. If they can't swim, buddy, that's just too bad.
Well, the Roman Empire went down for the same crap that's going on in Washington, D.C.
Yes, it did.
It's a good thing you got Trump up there.
I agree. Thank you, Tony. God bless you. And you and Mary. Oh, I forgot to play this earlier. Not play it, but Merry Christmas, my dear friends.
Thank you. Same to you at the end.
All right, buddy. Take care. Thank you. All right. Hey, don't forget Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. You know, the cold, and I had to watch out yesterday. Man, there was a little bit of ice underneath there, and I was going out to feed, and I thought to myself, whoa, look out, be careful. You got to watch out, and if you take a spill and get a sprain, a strain, or maybe break an arm or whatever, hey, and you're recuperating, Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Can I try that one again? I've only said it 20,000 times. Rehabilitation. There we go. They can help you with your rehabilitation. I said it twice in a row. Put my gold star back up on the wall. With the best of physical therapists, all the exercises, and, of course, that hydrotherapy pool. They can help you get back to being you. Call them at 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Woo! All right. Morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Sam. Hey, I've just got a couple of seconds here before I probably leave. I'm driving, but I wanted to talk about this airport that they're trying to push through in Burley coming out here. They're trying to shove it down Mendocino County's throat because it is a city Burley airport. It's not a regional airport, and they're just very limited. People aren't going to be able to use it. I hope everybody kind of understands that. And, I mean, it's good for private pilots and crop dusters and that sort of thing, but it's not going to benefit anybody in Minidoka County.
One thing I'm going to say, and I'm so glad you brought this up about the airport. Number one, when this concept was floated around a few years ago, there were people that come on my program, they discussed it, and all of a sudden in the last 8 months, 10 months, or 12 months, there's been limited response to me, my program, to put this information on the air. And I'm going to tell you something. Next week, I'm coming out with a complete segment on this airport, the need or the not need for it, and stay tuned next week. I promise I'll have more information on it.
Very good, Zeb. I appreciate that. But yeah, I just wanted to put my 2 cents worth in before I lose you here. I'm just losing contact with you now.
All right, my friend, and thank you very much. I appreciate it. That Burley Airport, and whether it's the city administrator, I don't give a rip who it is, they should be contacting these kinds of programs to share the information and not just look for exclusivity of meetings where very few people might be in attendance because of the cold weather, a lot of the seniors, etc. I don't feel like they should have the luxury of not trying to contact us to come on the air. They want airtime. They want to tell us what they're doing. That's what these programs are all about. But if they hide from that, it makes one wonder. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I've got to pay some bills here, and then we'll take some more calls. We're going to give away some cookies in just a minute. Don't forget Merry Christmas from Snake River Auto Body and Paint. Ken and Dan, the whole crew at 404 4th Avenue West in Twin Falls, they are great. And I'll tell you what, you got a couple of dings in your vehicle, they can fix them up and make them look brand spanking new. Snake River Auto Body and Paint in Twin Falls. Merry Christmas. Along with Streamline Precision, 120 South, 100 West of Burley, they do it all. Excavation, underground piping, utilities, trenching, pond cleaning, demolition, dirt and waste hauling. Wow, Tim and the crew, they're serving you at 678-9204, Streamline Precision. Pickett Equipment, there's a Santa Claus, old Steve Pickett, a good friend of mine at 976 East Main in Burley, 678-0855. They have been providing the best of equipment since way back in the 1970s. And they wish you a very Merry Christmas from Pickett Equipment Company in Burley. And my dear friends at the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce at 1177 7th Avenue in Heyburn, don't forget they've got a fantastic gift center over there at the Minnecasia Chamber. You'll find made in Idaho products that'll knock your socks off, fun and interesting. Get over there and check it out today. Merry Christmas from the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce. Really great folks. Holy cow. I've got to give away some cookies in just a minute, so stay tuned, and it is for first-time winners only. Before I do that, I'm going to tell you that if you've got livestock, you better make sure they're taken care of absolutely the best with the Keelix supplements. Listen. Scott Minton is the sales representative for Keelix right here in this area, a very important supplement of vitamins and minerals for your livestock. Whether you got beef cattle, dairy cattle, horses, sheep, and goats, Keelix has the product for your livestock to get through the cold winter months and really have the vitamins and minerals that they need. Call him today at 435-230-1175. Scott Minton. Keelix supplements, absolutely the best for your livestock. Let's give away a dozen cookies on this National Cookie Day. Today is National Cookie Day, by the way. And Deanna, a little hint, I didn't get any of my sugar cookies. Sophie's Chatterbox over there in Rupert, right on the square. My goodness, the best of a bakery. Oh, I hope to shout. And a great restaurant. And I'll tell you what, if you haven't been there, you better get over there. Absolutely. They can bake things up for you for this holiday coming up. I mean, we're in it, let's face it. You're going to have a lot of people over, cookies and all that kind of thing. Sophie's Chatterbox in Rupert. And right now, I got an easy question for you this morning. The first person that can call in, and by the way, make it a first-time winner. But if you've already won, you are ineligible. And I have my little list to see who's naughty and nice. First person to call 436-2244 and give me the answer to this very easy question. In the TV miniseries Lonesome Dove, Robert Duvall, Tommy Lee Jones, they were the main stars. But in the TV miniseries Lonesome Dove, what color horse did the captain ride through the entirety of the miniseries? What color horse did the captain ride, Tommy Lee Jones, through the entirety of the miniseries? Tell me that, and you might win a dozen cookies from Sophie's Chatterbox, okay? What color horse did the captain ride through the entirety of the miniseries Lonesome Dove? Please give me a call at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. That should be pretty easy. And while I'm waiting for your call, because I got so many great people to talk about this morning, I want to remind you about all three of the urgent cares. There is no reason for you to sit there and go, I'm aching, I'm hurting, oh my goodness. No. They can take care of you right now. They offer absolutely 7 days a week with extended hours. Get treated, not seated. No appointment necessary. Riverview Urgent Care in Burley at 382 North Overland. Urgent Care of Twin Falls at 2392 Addison Avenue East. And Urgent Care of Jerome, 133 West Avenue A in Jerome. Absolutely. Lacerations, they can provide all the stitches and they can take care of the sprains, the strains, and fractures and care for the whole family, drug screening, DOT physicals. Wow, you better get a hold of them today, and they can save you money. The Urgent Cares. Riverview Urgent Care in Burley, Urgent Care in Twin Falls, and Urgent Care in Jerome. All right, what's the answer? Come on, quickly. I want a cookie winner here. Good morning, you're on the air.
I got to guess white.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's so close. Why did you say white?
White could be gray.
Who is this?
Joe Taylor.
Joe, you're right there, borderline to the point where, yes, it was gray, but you're such a great guy, and I feel so generous at this Christmas time of the year that I'm going to award you the winner of being the cookie winner for this morning on National Cookie Day. Joe Taylor, God bless you.
Well, thank you. I'm a cookie monster.
You like cookies, huh?
I do.
What's your favorite?
Oh, and they're all a favorite.
Well, I'll tell you what, you just won a dozen cookies. Call over to Sophie's and let them know when you're going to have somebody come over and pick them up, and enjoy because you're the winner, Joe. God bless you, man. Thank you, and Merry Christmas.
I appreciate you and your program.
Thank you, Joe. God bless you. Thank you. What a nice man, and I've said many times, the greatest real estate agent in the country, Joe Taylor. And it was kind of a gray, and they had a special name for the horse. They said it in the miniseries, but I'm not going to say it here because we might have some smaller kids in the audience here this morning. But a unique name for that horse. It was a little gray horse, and they called her something pretty special. Anyway, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Can you believe that the ACLU honored Colin Kaepernick, this punk kid that started protesting police brutality and wearing socks that depicted the police as pigs? And he's the one that started this mess in the NFL with taking a knee or sitting during the national anthem. They honored him as a hero. I heard this. I about fell off my chair. Colin Kaepernick honored by the ACLU as a hero for his bravery. Now, doesn't that just reek? It stinks. It has a stench to it. When right now today, every policeman in every city, in every locale, maybe just getting out of their squad car to investigate a crime or to stop a crime. Every soldier that wears the uniform of this United States of America around the globe with a target on their back. And Colin Kaepernick, a punk quarterback that started all this dissension, is noted by the ACLU for his bravery. If you're not sickened by this, why? 25 players yesterday, it was estimated, with various teams, took a knee or sat during our national anthem. And this is after the NFL provided listen to this, $90 million for support of their supposed causes. And they had all the different painted shoes with all the different causes on and everything. But they still took a knee and they still sat down. These despicable, overpaid, underworked athletes. Still, many of them that didn't sit or take a knee, they raised their black fist into the air. You know, why don't they take a lot of their money, and most all of these players are millionaires, why don't they take a lot of their money in the off season and really find out more and put themselves in a position to where they can work with and for their local police units to find out exactly what happens and what kind of a treacherous, very dangerous life our police have to go through daily. Now, I was thinking about this earlier this morning, and I have not heard anybody mention this, but remember about 7 or 8 years ago while Shaquille O'Neal was playing in the NBA, Shaquille wants to be a policeman. He always wanted to be a policeman. And he fulfilled his goal and went through the training and the regimen and the studies and everything and actually is a bona fide policeman. So he understands exactly what's going on and what they go through and the danger zones that they are in 24/7. But to hail Colin Kaepernick, a punk with frizzy hair that absolutely has the IQ of a box of rocks, as a hero and noted for his bravery, please, we're not that dumb, are we? Let's not forget Barry Equipment and Rental. Oh, my goodness, the very best. 3 locations serving you, Jerome, Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. We had Juan on the air with us last week. What a nice guy. Just really knowledgeable and just a personable guy. And the very best of sales, service, and parts. And they do have all the equipment rentals, and they've got all the lift rentals. They've got all the skid steer rentals. And, of course, they've got retail equipment sales. Oh, my goodness. Check it out. The Hilti, the Steel, the Bobcats, all of this and so much more. You check it out today. South Lincoln in Jerome, Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. They do the job for you and have all the equipment to get the job done right. At Barry Equipment and Rental, you stop in and see them today. Once again, Merry Christmas from Denny's Restaurant at 611 Overland in Burley. And also, Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. Jeff and the crew. Oh, boy, you know what we got going for you? You can stop into Denny's anytime. Today, right now. Lunch, breakfast, dinner, whatever you want. And then when you're finished, take your receipt up to the cash register, pay, and then sign that receipt, put your telephone number on there, and you might be the lucky winner on December 14th of of a beautiful Flex Steel men's recliner provided by Jeff and the crew at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Teaming up with our friends at Denny's, America's Diner, and that's going to be drawn for on Thursday, December 14th at our Denny's annual Christmas party while we're on the air at Denny's. Gonna be a lot of fun. Don't miss it. All right, calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. The Mueller investigation is absolutely, from what I can gather, the people that I talked to back in New York and Washington, D.C., it is one of the most corrupt, it is one of the most ridiculous, and it's one of the most partisan investigations, and it's like clowns looking for a circus. Now it's coming out that one of the FBI agents involved had been texting anti-Trump messages while on the investigation team. Now, gee whiz golly, that's pretty biased and prejudicial against the president and his administration. How can they do a fair job? They can't. And they're not. And I got into kind of a interesting conversation the other day with some people, and well, Trump did this. No, he didn't. Well, Trump had collusion with Russia. No, he hasn't. There's no proof. And besides that, collusion, look it up, is not illegal. Some of the greatest legal minds, including Alan Dershowitz, that has been on this program, and you see him on television a lot. He is an avowed Democrat, but he's come right out and said that, no, Trump didn't do anything wrong. But they keep digging, and they keep scratching, and then dig some more. It's been over a year, and in this day and age of leaks and somebody saying, well, I know a little something about this, but I'm not going to tell you right now, I'll wait. You know, there's all this behind the scenes, and still nobody has had any bona fide truth. Not there. But we hear all kinds of stories about, oh, my goodness, he did this. Oh, my goodness, he did that. You hear the stupidity of one of the dumbest women on television, Joy Behar, coming out and saying, well, oh, boy, we got him now. Well, no, they don't. And it's just old to the point where there's so much we need to be worried about, whether it's ISIS, whether it's North Korea, whether it's healthcare. Whatever the problem, we've got major problems in this country to really worry about and address, more so than this stupidity by the Democrats, that's what it is, that is not coming to fruition. Your thoughts, give me a call, 436-22. Oh, and by the way, Obama, he's not out of the news yet. You know, the guy, I never liked him. I made no bones about it, but he was the president of the United States. Whether I liked him or not, he sat in the Oval Office as the president, and we had to respect the office. This guy has no respect for anybody. He comes out and he said, I grant you that at the moment we have a temporary absence of American leadership on issues. He was talking about climate change and the Paris Climate Accord. I grant you that at the moment we have a temporary absence of American leadership on the issue. You know, it's always been kind of an unwritten law that presidents that are gone out of office and are sitting in the pasture someplace don't say anything bad about the current administration. Not so with this person. Caller, good morning, you're on the air.
Where's Wheels?
Why?
Well, he just didn't answer the phone, so I wonder if he's okay.
Well, Wheels, are you there?
I'm here. I'm just trying to juggle between both, multiple phones and everything.
Well,
I am here.
You just juggle this for now, okay, buddy? All right. Go ahead.
Oh, that's good. I just want to bring up the fact that the Democrats are on this terror trip now of trying to discredit President Trump because he's getting senile and dementia and all of that. They're coming up with all kinds of things like that. This guy has got a brilliant mind. I don't care what they say. I will listen to him any day other than them.
Well, and this deal, okay, Keith, you're a little bit older than I am, and you've seen a couple of more administrations than I have. Have you ever seen such a witch hunt that has not, to this date, after well over a year of investigatory means and methods by the FBI and others, and nothing's coming of it?
Well, it's like the old saying goes, when it's over, it's over.
Yeah.
And these people can't seem to get it through their head that it is over.
Yeah.
And they think they're going to take back the House. I don't think so. I think the American people, even though they may act like it on the street that they support the Democrats, when it goes to the ballot box, they'll check the right one.
I can't imagine.
They know what's going on.
I can't imagine, and Keith, make a short answer on this response, but I can't imagine why anybody, honestly, after looking at the Democratic platform, why you would ever want to vote for a Democrat.
There's just absolutely no reason to. There's no substance to anything they say.
Yeah.
They're just obstructionists. That's the only thing they're very good at.
I agree. I got to run and do a weather forecast. Keith, thank you so much. God bless you, man. Hey, let's not worry about anything right now but the weather forecast and Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids with Dr. Christine Pickup, Doctor of Audiology, right behind the Minidoka Hospital across from the emergency room. Number to call for an appointment to get a hearing screening and find out why you're having a diminishment of hearing. She can and she will help you. 312-0957 for a hearing screening at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Tell you more in a minute, but right now, here's the weather forecast.
Here's your weather forecast for the first Monday of November, and it is going to be on the windy side for today. We are looking at mostly sunny skies. Winds out of the west, 8 to 15 miles an hour. Gusts possible as high as 25 miles an hour. Looking at a high of 34 today. Tonight, mostly clear skies, cold. Low right around 15, still slightly breezy for tomorrow. Sunny skies, still on the breezy side, high of 34 tomorrow night. Patchy freezing fog after midnight. Other than that, mostly clear skies with a low right near 15 for Wednesday. Looks like patchy freezing fog before noon. Sunny skies, high of 35 for Wednesday night. Mostly clear with a low of 15. And for Thursday, sunny and a high of 37. That's your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
And thank you, Gina. And, of course, don't forget, too, that over at Mount Harrison Audiology, the lovely Katie Bingham is the new patient care coordinator. You call them for an appointment today and find out why you're not hearing everything. 312-0957, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Really good folks. Calls are welcome, and there better be somebody over there answering the phone at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. One other person that I think is getting a bum rap. I mean, she is not getting anything fair for her at all. And that's Melania Trump, the First Lady. She is not overbearing at all, like I looked at Michelle Obama. She is very style and fashion conscious and wears, I think, very nice-looking clothes to be the First Lady. That I can't say about Michelle Obama. And she has been in the background doing little things to help people and children's advocacy groups, etc. And she decorated the White House, as the First Ladies do, for Christmas. Now, I don't care if you want to go back to any administration, Eisenhower's, Kennedy's, Bush's, Bush 1 and 2, Clinton, doesn't make any difference. The First Lady is in control of that, and really they can put forth their best effort for decorating for Christmas. And Melania Trump Deanna and I were watching this on television the other day. She has done an outstanding job of creating a beauty for the Christmas season at the White House. And the liberal left is going bananas. Oh, it's terrible. And one even came out, a newscaster came out and said, well, it looks like a horror freak show. They must have been watching something else other than what I saw. Regardless of who the First Lady is, I thought it was absolutely beautiful. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Zeb, I think that was absolutely beautiful, too. I mean, I liked how she made it look like a winter wonderland.
Yes.
You know, I mean, just sparkly and beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. Very well put. A winter wonderland, and I thought it was extremely tasteful. And they have criticized this poor lady for the shoes that she wears, where she positions herself on a stage or up at a podium. I tell you what. And then you got Big Mama Obama that never could do anything wrong in the media, and some of the clothes she wore, it made her look like, never mind. But I'm just really bitter about the way this poor lady's been treated.
Oh, you know, I think Trump is very, very lucky to be married to her. I wish half the people in this country could have wives as good as her, you know?
Well, I'll tell you what, I do. I'm very proud of mine, I'll tell you that. Anyways,
when's your broadcast from Denny's again?
It's going to be on Thursday, December 14th. 2 weeks, don't miss it. I want to have you there if you can make it.
I'll be there.
All right, buddy, thanks.
You have a good day.
All right, thank you. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Come on, callers, call in. I've still got time. Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers for all the tires to get ready for wintertime driving. Yeah, the tread tires that you need for your car, your pickup, your SUV, and they've got all the tire chains, the Quick Fit Diamond tire chains. Oh, yeah. And they've got the best in brake service, front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries. Now, with the colder weather, if you haven't had your battery checked, maybe you better run in and have it checked, and maybe it's not going to be strong enough. Get a new one. Get a good one. Get the best. Right from any one of the 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley. Yep, the best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All right, still have time for another call or two. Give me a jingle on the landline, 436-2244. This story is kind of disconcerting. There is a new push to put another Clinton in office on a national level. Yep, Chelsea. Can you? Oh, the people of Arkansas. There's a major push right now to try to get her to run for a national senatorial post from the state of Arkansas. And I was listening to a couple of people that were interviewed this weekend from Arkansas on television. And the one guy said, "Are you kidding? Are you kidding? We've been through 2 of them. We don't need another one." I guess maybe his feelings were no to Chelsea Clinton. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Certified Pest Control, Kevin and the crew want to wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas. They started back in 2000, and believe me, they have grown this business, and they are a real asset to the community and an asset to all of us, getting rid of all the bad things like the mice and the voles and everything. They do a wonderful job, so please get a hold of them today, 312-8577. Certified Pest Control, wishing you a very Merry Christmas. Really good, folks. All right, coming up this rest of the morning, A very interesting morning, too, by the way. We're going to have Frosty Woolridge on the air at 9:06. I always have regrets that I haven't got more time to keep him on the air longer. 9:30, we've got Brian Crabtree talking about the tax bill. And then at 10:06, a lady that I had on last week and I had to cut short because I had to leave early, and that was Maria Espinoza. And she's going to talk about that debacle, that absolute joke of a jury vote in San Francisco over the Kate Steinle case. I am bitter about that. And then at 10:32, we're going to have Dr. Ann Pierce, a very well-known and very well-informed person about national and international politics, talking about the North Korea crisis. And it is. That's what's coming up for the rest of the morning. Don't forget Denny's annual Christmas party, Thursday, December 14th, from 8 to 11. I'll be over there at Denny's broadcasting live and direct at 611 Overland and Burley. Door prizes, Santa Claus. Register for that Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More recliner. I told you about that a little earlier. All of this and more going on at Denny's annual Christmas party on December the 14th. Don't you miss it. Going to be a lot of fun. Let's see what else is there. I think we're going to get ready to send it over to Wheels and the main studio this morning, and he's going to play a little bit of Christmas bumper music. I'm in the mood. Wheels, take it away. What have we got on the menu? Oh, my. Good morning. Hour number 2, Zeb at the Ranch, and, of course, brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Get ready for wintertime driving. Look out. And, of course, all 7 locations serving you, and including some of our great advertisers like Western Way Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Way Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Way Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Way Services.
Always at your disposal, absolutely. Western Way Services. Call, get on the route service, tell them, I want my garbage picked up, and they'll be there. You can almost set your watch by these people. Very professional. And get rid of your garbage. Call today at 734-6969. Excuse me, 734-6969. Western Way Services, always at your disposal. The best. Oh, my, you know what? There's going to be a great big Christmas party for your dogs. Yeah, Four Paws annual Christmas party, open house, and it's going to be this next week. Let's see, December 9th. I got to look and see what day that is. That is going to be next Saturday, this coming Saturday. Don't miss this. Holy moly, what a great fun time they're going to have from 11 to 2 at 370 West, 200 South of Rupert. Number to call to find out more, 438-4444. Free pictures with Santa Claus with a big Doberman sitting on his lap. You take your Cocker Spaniels, Dobermans, whatever, and have fun. Four Paws annual Christmas open house for your dogs and you and everybody to have a good time at Four Paws annual Christmas party this coming Saturday. Real quick, too, want to remind you about our dear friend Joel Heward and his staff and family serving you over at Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. Number to call, 436-5636. You know, their staff and his family always committed to upholding the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity in serving you and your family when there's the loss of a loved one. Please call them and find out more information, how they can serve you. The number 436-5636, Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. My next guest, I've been so anxious to get him on the air and talk about this devastating subject this morning. And just a few moments ago, my wife was in working on the computer and handed me his latest editorial regarding Kate Steinle in San Francisco, California, shot by an illegal alien. And the jury in a bought-off sanctuary city of San Francisco literally did nothing to this illegal alien. Frosty Woldridge, good morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Zeb. And I would direct anyone and everyone. I did a lot of research on this, as you can tell from the article. It's titled Kate Steinle, Legally Killed in San Francisco by an Illegal Alien. And the research I did on this thing makes the governor of California, certainly the mayor of San Francisco, legally criminals.
Yes.
They have committed criminal acts against our laws in harboring an illegal alien, 6 times deported, and a felon, and allowed to come and thrive right there in San Francisco until the night that he shot Kate Steinle. It's a pretty sobering commentary and well researched, and everyone, city councils, mayors of cities who have these sanctuary cities, Governor Hickenlooper, Michael Hancock of Denver, they're both in violation of laws. Jerry Brown of California, certainly de Blasio and Cuomo in New York there. You go right on down the line. 240 different cities across the country have voted sanctuary cities into action, and they harbor criminals, rapists, drug dealers, you name it, and don't allow ICE to come in and arrest them. It is absolutely sickening what's happening to our country when our own elected representatives are harboring fugitives and felons from the law, and then when they kill us, whether it's an accident, a drunken accident, like just in Denver, Colorado, 2 women were killed at a Baskin and Robbins a year or so ago, along with a child, a 4-year-old child was killed just eating ice cream because a 3-time convicted and deported Hernandez illegal alien was drunk again and drove right into the front end of a Baskin Robbins and killed him. This goes on thousands of times in the last 30 to 40 years now.
You know, Frosty, I, with my wife, sat there watching the return of the verdict. We watched all the news cameras being set up. We watched all the reporters trying to position themselves for the great escape after the word came down so they could call into their various news bureaus. Every single one of the people that were interviewed on the air thought that at the very least, this illegal alien would get a manslaughter charge. He walked without anything, nothing more than the felony of having a handgun. And I cannot understand how this is such a miscarriage of justice and why it was allowed. It should have been absolutely thrown out of the court system as a stupid, derelict decision by this jury.
In total agreement. And anyone with a room temperature IQ, especially on a jury duty, would have convicted this guy on manslaughter. The fact is, he is a 5-time, I think it was 5 times deported out of this country. He's a felon. He has done so many bad things that he should be in jail. And instead, his name is Zarat. He was allowed to literally work and thrive and get drunk and do all of the things that a felon does in our country, when he should have absolutely not been able to work in our country. He should have been in jail. You know, you come to this country illegally, it's a misdemeanor the first time you're caught. The second time, it's a felony. And he's a felon. And yet, because our laws are not enforced, because California has somewhere between 3 and 4 million illegal aliens, it's the most in-debt state in the country. It's literally being overrun and invaded by illegal aliens of every stripe. We get, you know, they always say, what's the insurance for illegal aliens at a traffic accident? They run. And that's exactly what happens, and then you and I pay for it. And what's really the guilty people in this thing are the governor of Jerry Brown, the governor of California, certainly Edwin Lee, the mayor of San Francisco. Before him was Gavin. You just go right on down the line. But it's also the city councils that vote this stuff in, because these sanctuary cities are absolutely a violation of our laws, period. And I would love to see them go to court. They should literally put Jerry Brown and the mayor of San Francisco on a docket for court for murdering, if you will, or getting Kate Steinle killed, but thousands of others getting killed in the same vein. So it's absolutely sickening on so many different levels.
You know, I just can't imagine, Frosty, and I'm sitting here and I'm really going to have to weigh my words so that I watch what I say this morning. This case infuriates me. This case tells me, and I want you to tell me if I'm wrong, but this case tells me that as a taxpayer, as a bona fide American citizen, these illegal aliens and these sanctuary cities and these mayors are just absolutely snuffing their nose at those of us that are citizens and giving a high priority and a sanctuary for criminals in these sanctuary cities, and we can't do a dadgum thing about it.
It's correct. And let me just quote the law here. This is Section 274A of the Penal Code, and it says, any person who encourages or induces an alien to reside knowingly or in reckless disregard of the fact that such residence is in violation of the law shall be punished as provided for each alien in respect $2,000 and up to 5 years in prison or both. And yet, with that kind of violation, Marriott hotels, McDonald's, all the fast food corporations, certainly Wendy's, Hormel Foods, Tyson Chickens, all of the construction firms, roofing firms, landscape firms, all of them are hiring illegal aliens. They're all being coddled, if you will, or protected in sanctuary cities. And really the employers of all these illegal aliens should be going to jail for Kate Steinle's death, because they're the ones that allow and make it happen that these illegals get to work at slave wages, of course. It's a 21st century slave labor is what it is, because all they do is give them minimum, and then they just let them live in trailers and all that goes with that. And it's really a desecration of the U.S. Constitution and our laws, and for the rest of us as law-abiding citizens. I mean, it really is sickening on so many different levels, as you can read in my article.
It's an excellent article, and I'm thumbing through it right now. I just received it before the segment started. But, Frosty, where's the pride in being an American? Where's the pride in standing up for our Constitution and our value system and our laws? What about Rahm Emanuel? What about Bill de Blasio? What about these kooks and crackpots in San Francisco? I mean, just basically telling the American people and our government and our Constitution, to hell with you. We're going to run it our way and be a safe haven for bad people and people that are breaking the law.
It is so frustrating on every level. Here's another point that came out. March 30 of 2016 was a study that was completed. As many as 7,500 Americans annually, that's 20 per day, are killed by unlicensed illegal alien drivers. I mean, that, unquote, that was a study that was done. That means you and I are at any time liable to death or severe injury because of unlicensed drivers, and virtually most of them are illegal aliens that have hopped the borders. And again, as Steve Camarada of Center for Immigration Studies did a study just a year ago, we're still taking in 500,000 illegal aliens every year into this country. That's 500,000 people, folks. And those illegal aliens are getting jobs, and they're living off the welfare. They're certainly getting their anchor babies so that they get free food. They get free housing on Section 8 housing. They get medical care, and the child gets to be an American citizen when that is such a misinterpretation of the 14th Amendment. And yet that's going on because your two senators in Nebraska, my two senators in Colorado, certainly our House reps, are not doing anything to stop it. They're not doing anything. That's a fact. My Bennett and Gardner have F- on their report card for doing nothing about immigration and illegal immigration, and I'm sure that both your senators and the House rep are not doing anything either, and probably have an F- on the. Go to numbersusa.org, and you can see if you have what your two senators have for a report card for their work on immigration. Well, and the fact is that majority of the entire 535 reps up there in Congress absolutely do nothing, and we, the American taxpayer, not only pay with our lives, but we pay with our pocketbooks.
Well, here in Idaho and Colorado and all across this country, I'm sure people like you and I are sitting there right now, right this very minute, saying, what in the world can we do? I mean, they don't listen to us. We can write letters to our congressmen and our senators until our ink pens run dry, and nothing is done as far as any reciprocity to help us, the people that are paying the tax bills. I mean, I'm frustrated, and I'm mad to think that this guy, this Zarate, will probably and very likely be back here in the United States within another 6 months and very possibly committing more crimes.
It's almost probable. Again, all of these deported illegals are coming back, and they get this sanctuary in these sanctuary cities. Not only there in San Francisco, but in Los Angeles. I mean, Los Angeles is just another Mexico. They call it El Norte. It's Mexico El Norte. It's Mexico North. I mean, it's just literally Los Angeles Spanish is virtually the language. I spoke last week down in Houston, Texas, and I was, just listening and watching the news that night. There are 5 television stations in Spanish there in Houston. Folks, if you're a citizen of this country, you speak English. You have to speak English because it is the language of this country, except for the fact that, the sexual predator, Bill Clinton, when he was president, he passed a bill. It was called Executive Order 13166 to put translations for everybody in this country into their own home language. That's just wrong, and we're paying millions and millions and millions to get all of these documents into their home languages. Well, folks, there's over 800 languages in New York City right now, and we're paying for all this translation and stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know how many TV station, radio stations in Los Angeles are all Spanish, but I'll bet you probably a half a dozen or more, probably even closer to a dozen, because Los Angeles is literally being taken over by Mexicans.
Frosty, when you think about it, we've lost our voice. What's right is now wrong. What's wrong is now right. And we've lost our voice, and we're being laughed at and sneered at by the likes of Jerry Brown and by the California legislature, saying that they're going to become a sanctuary state, and they're giving more rights than Frosty Woldridge and Zeb Bell. And I'll tell you something, if that doesn't call for an outright revolt against what's happening criminally in this country, I don't know what does.
Well, and part and parcel that goes with all of that, Zeb, is the fact that you got that House Rep Maxine Waters, who literally has the IQ of a cockroach.
Yeah.
And I can stand with that. That lady is absolutely a complete nincompoop. She has gotten up in front of the Congress and said that Sharia law must be allowed in America. I saw the video of her.
Yeah.
I mean, she supports Sharia law. I mean, Sharia law would have her head chopped off in a heartbeat. She's so stupid. But yet she's one of those people that's in a position of power. She's a member of the House of Representatives, I think, for over 30 years now. She's done nothing. I mean, nothing to further African Americans in this country. She hasn't done anything to get into the inner cities and bring education and jobs. Because she's too stupid to be able to do anything. I don't think she's even presented one bill, or if it is, I mean, it hasn't been done by her. But if Kate Steinle had been a black American, an African American, I mean, Black Lives Matter would have been marching all over San Francisco. I mean, the place would have gone nuts. And instead, Kate Steinle was a European American, a Caucasian, and she just got sacrificed. And the status quo there and the political correctness of San Francisco, certainly of all of California, it literally got that young woman killed. And really, nobody's going to give it a second thought. But again, all of the guilty parties are those who hire illegal aliens, all those employers who hire illegal aliens, all of those politicians that won't stand up for the United States Constitution and our laws, and all of the U.S. United States Chamber of Commerce, which helps and facilitates and lobbies to help illegal aliens maintain themselves in this country so that they get that cheap labor for all these big... And it's on both sides of the aisles.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
Republicans are sitting here and doing nothing to stop illegal immigration. They're not voting in E-Verify as a mandate. And the Democrats can't wait to have another illegal alien, baby, anchor baby, so that they can have more voters to get them on the dole, of course, to have free food, free housing, and all that goes with it. And so both sides of the aisle, and the Democrats have sat on the E-Verify. If E-Verify was passed into law, and it should have been, Boehner didn't do it when he was House Rep. McConnell hasn't done it. None of them done it because none of them are standing up for the American citizens and the American worker. They're making sure that flood of illegal immigrants continues in this country so that all of these big-moneyed employers can have that slave labor and then just keeps American citizens out of work. I'm telling you, it makes me sick on so many levels because I know so much about it because I've done so much research.
I've only got a minute left, but I want you to comment. I absolutely am in favor if they have the resources and the ability for the Steinle family to sue each and every individual, whether it's Feinstein, whether it's Pelosi, whether it's Jerry Brown, whatever, and go after the state of California for the absolute heinous death of their daughter that did not, would not, and should not have happened because of an illegal alien being in this country.
In total agreement. Senator Boxer should go up against the courts, and Dianne Feinstein should go up against the courts. Jerry Brown should be put in prison. He's responsible for all of this. Edwin Lee, which is the latest mayor of San Francisco, all of them should be put up in court right now and literally fighting for their lives because they are guilty of killing this Kate Steinle. That's all there is to it.
Frosty, I wish I had more time. I hate to end on such a somber note, but this was an excellent piece, and I admire the way you put it all together. God bless you, man, and I cannot wait to talk to you next Monday.
Sounds great, and many blessings. And again, for everyone who cares about this, I hope that the numbersusa.org, that you're a member of, carryingcapacitynetwork.org, and certainly capsweb.org. We have got to somehow collectively have so many people in those three organizations that we get this immigration issue to the forefront and get to shut down immigration into our country before we no longer have a country for our own citizens.
Amen. Frosty Woolridge, Golden, Colorado. God bless you. Thank you, Frost. Take care, buddy. Thanks.
Okay.
All righty. Boy, he did an excellent job on this article, and I commend him. Frosty Woolridge in Golden, Colorado. Hey, don't forget a great deal. Call Fairview Inn and Suites by Marriott and reserve a room for your relatives. That's right. This is the place for your relatives and friends to stay during the holidays so you don't have to share your bathroom. I mean, my goodness, make a reservation for them at the Fairview Inn and Suites by Marriott, 230 West, 7th North in Burley. Number to call 677-5000. And they wish you and yours a Merry Christmas. Great idea. Also want to say Merry Christmas from my dear friend Doug Martin at Doug's Alternator and Starter Repair at 635 21st Street in Heyburn. Number to call 878-4991. The dog's barking. She heard about Doug, too. Hey, Doug says thank you to all of his customers. He appreciates your business, and he says, remember the real reason for the season of Christmas, the birth of Jesus. Thank you very much, Doug's Alternator and Starter Repair. In just a few moments, we're going to have our next guest on the program, so stay tuned for that. But also want to quickly say a couple of other great notes this morning. Thank you. Go out to Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union in Heyburn. Number to call 678-1177. It is a very dangerous time of the year right now for dogs to be down near the Snake River if you're hunting or running your dogs or whatever. There is a blue-green algae that's growing that is absolutely, simply put, deadly. It can kill your dogs. Please don't let them near that blue-green algae. If you have more questions, I urge you to call, or if your dogs did get near it, take them in immediately to Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street in Heyburn. Number to call, 678-1177. And I don't need anybody else crashing the program wheels. And that number again, 678-1177. They do have the warm hearts for the cold noses. Don't forget that. In just a moment, we're going to have Brian Crabtree on the program with us, and we're looking forward to talk to him about the president's tax bill, the Republicans trying to push it through. We're going to have that on in just a moment. Don't forget what's going on over at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Holy moly. They've got all kinds of Santa's favorite places and items, and all you have to do is go into Lee's and partake of all your Christmas shopping. You'll find it all. No money down, no interest, up to 12 months on approved credit. My goodness, they've got recliners and chairs, some as low as $299. A great selection of all the recliners. All the sofas starting as low as just $399. They've got all the bedroom sets, and they've got the family dining sets. All of this and more with super great people at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley, wishing you a very Merry Christmas. Right now, let's go to the phone line, and with us, Brian Crabtree. Brian, good morning, sir. How are you?
Doing great. Good to be with you.
It's my pleasure to have you on the air and talk about, quite frankly, what's going on and taking up the lion's share of what's happening in Washington, D.C. right now, and that's the budget reform and the tax cuts and everything. You really have studied this. What are your thoughts? Is this going to be a good, bad, or ugly plan for America?
It's all of the above in a sense. Politically, it's going to be good, bad, and ugly. And for the actual implications to the economy, I think it's ultimately positive. That's how you have to judge this, not through a political lens, not through the polarization of the idiotic media. It simply doesn't understand taxes and the economy. Are there problems in the bill? Certainly. And those problems will be conflated and projected as being much bigger than they are for political purposes in 2018. But the bottom line is, when you put corporate tax percentages down to 20%. Now, that would come into effect in 2019. It's not immediate. But when you put that down, it causes a bit of investment and planning, because these corporations are going to start investing and getting ready to repatriate money, which is bring it back to the United States. You bring a couple $1 trillion back in, that's a stimulus that government can't buy. Not all of that will flow into the economy. Some will just go straight into the pocket of savings of big corporations. It's their money, so to speak. They have the right to do that. But some of it will make it into research and development. We cannot ignore that that is huge. That is transformative. It will increase jobs. It will increase the economy. It will increase GDP, and thus it will negate the deficit concerns of this entire tax bill.
All right, now, Brian, all that being said, of course, you hear all the Democrats, whether it's Pelosi or whether it's Schumer or whomever, excuse me, come out and say, well, this is going to be a death knell for the middle class. Why, those poor people, they're going to have the rug pulled right out from under them and live in the streets. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, given the political climate and the fact that they had to kind of only plan on Republicans coming on board for this, I tend to disagree with most all of that. I mean, they may be coming from a morsel of truth, but I don't think there's an element of truth. Let me give you an example. There was the reason that Senator Ron Johnson originally jumped out of this bill, senator from Wisconsin, was the pass-through tax for small businesses basically became punitive to small businesses and the middle class in America. So the provision that they put in, I just read through this a few minutes ago, it's really hard to understand. So half of Washington probably doesn't have a clue. And it's hard to articulate so that your audience will understand it unless they're dealing with it. But the bottom line is that what it does is it says that if you're making over $500,000 a year in a small business as a adjusted gross income, that means basically net income of the business, that you're not going to be able to just forego all of the payroll and ordinary income taxes. That's a little punitive to larger small businesses. But the average small business in America with 1 to 3 employees likely nets about $100,000 to $300,000 or $400,000 or $500,000. So it has no impact on a large number of small businesses. I think the compromise that represents is what brought Ron Johnson and perhaps saved other senators from bailing. And so, would I like to see that maybe up to $1 million? That gets into larger businesses that might have 20 and 30 and 40 employees? Yes. But it is a compromise nonetheless to keep from being, deficit-centric and keeping revenue in mind while at the same time trying to find a way to cut taxes. So those types of provisions, we can't perfect it because there's so much interest in Washington. But they did, I think, in the current political climate and with the problems inside the Republican Party, as good as they could on that one issue. They've also nearly doubled the personal exemption to offset some of the damages that might have been caused, the mortgage interest deduction for higher net worth. I don't think anyone got impacted up to $500,000, and I haven't read in detail yet whether they finally changed the number of years you have to stay in your primary residence. They were talking about 5 years. I haven't read through every detail yet, but I presume that made it in there as well, meaning you can't sell your home in 2 years now and escape taxes. You got to sell it in 5.
Brian, with your expertise on this, looking back in hindsight with health care, the Republicans have had 2 botched attempts to try to replace Obamacare. Then they shifted their direction and their gaze over to the tax cuts and tax reform. In your opinion, have they huddled up and called the wrong play too quick, or should they have called a timeout and gone to the sideline and talked to the coach?
Yeah, I think this is what they need to do right now. It's an even more banner conservative issue. I think putting money back into the hands of the people who earn it in the form of tax reform and tax savings, even if minuscule, is the right thing to do. The one thing that everyone, I think, in this country, regardless of political persuasion, would admit, if it wasn't so politically polarized, is we should be cutting spending as well. But that starts to get into extreme special interest. I think they did this as best they could. They've learned a little bit from their failure on the Obamacare repeal and replace. But let's face it, there's 10 or 20 million people in the Obamacare repeal and replace scenario that are going to get harmed no matter what they do. The bottom line is if they do nothing, there's 320 some odd million people who are going to get harmed if they do nothing. So what it really comes down for Republicans on health care, and they couldn't figure this out, is which 10 to 20 million people have their insurance rates go up when we repeal and replace Obamacare. If they do nothing, the reality is we're going to face the political likelihood reality that everyone's harmed and everyone's rates continue to go up. A few at the bottom get benefits, abuse the system, and everybody else pays for it. So that's a much more sticky, swamp-like problem than tax reform.
Does it surprise you to see people like Jeff Flake of Arizona and even John McCain of Arizona kind of tuck their wings together and say, yeah, we'll support it, when at the same time Tennessee's Bob Corker, I don't know if it's personal or whether he really has an angst against it, he said he's going to vote no. What are your thoughts on these guys?
Yeah, Bob Corker, Jeff Flake, John McCain, all 3 of them. I'd love to put them in a room and send them to Pyongyang. It's really, they're unpredictable. I think they are in the midst of a personal crisis, the conflict between being so jealous and petulant that they want to do things to harm Trump because they can't stand the fact that he's the polar opposite in conservative ranks of what they are and what they've stood for years, which is, in terms of the latter, nothing. And doing something because they know their legacy depends on it. Corker, I think, is just in the throes of a recent real back and forth tit for tat with Trump, and that probably contributes greatly to it. It allows him to be influenced more by Democrats who oppose this. Flake probably wants to run for something else, governor, president of 2020, something like that. If he thinks he's going to have a chance at that, he's delusional. But nonetheless, that delusion is to our benefit at this point, because if a Republican votes against tax reform, they would never, underscore never, make it through a primary. John McCain, I don't know. Surprised he voted yes. Quite frankly, that's the shocker of all of this.
Let me ask you this. I was reading part of the information sheets about having you on the program this morning, and one sentence kind of stood out, and it was the Joint Committee on Taxation has said that the Senate bill would add $1.4 trillion to budget deficits over the next decade. But then in my small little economic mind, I thought, wait a minute, it might add something to the budget deficit, but what about the great boon and boost it's going to give to the economy and also to corporations to come back here and pay their taxes in the United States?
I firmly believe the brains in Washington, while they may be smart in some areas, have very little common sense. They reflect, I think, the acumen of Chuck Todd over the weekend with Susan Collins, senator from Maine, Republican, when he asked her, I see no evidence, I found no report, nothing whatsoever that ever suggests tax return or tax reduction can increase the GDP or the economy. And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, so let me get this straight. If the government takes less money in, still spends the same amount, that means there's no governmental correction. And there's more money in people's pockets. It's inevitable that at least some of that money then goes into the economy. It's certainly not going to evaporate. Maybe a lot of it's saved. The rich people who get breaks aren't going to spend all of it. All of that's true. If I'm making $10 million a year and I save $700,000 in taxes, I might invest $300,000 or $400,000 more, et cetera, and put the rest away in savings. That's what happens. And boy, that's terrible that we set that example, isn't it? It's amazing to watch that being bashed. But they're, without a doubt, putting money back in Americans' pockets at all levels, even if it's $50 or $50 million in the highest ranks, is going to trickle into the economy and investments. I'll give you a stat from my 2 decades of housing, and I think this is important. I don't like the provision that says you can't sell a house but every 5 years. I think this is where Republicans are kind of stupid on some things. Every time a house transacts in your region or mine, $63,000 goes into the local economy. Mm-hmm. So anything that incentivizes transacting homes, 2 years, every 2 years you can escape capital gains instead of every 5 year kind of thing, that's just that much more money in the economy. That's a tax break. I don't know how people don't understand that. I think everyone listening to your show does, but for some reason, most of Washington seems to not get it.
You know, the thing is, they seem to be under the gun time-wise, and can they do this? Will they do this before Christmas and the break?
I'll still be shocked if they can reconcile in the House, as they have to do now, put these two bills together, the House bill that passed, the Senate bill now that passed, and come up with a bill that's going to clear muster. If I were Paul Ryan, I would change anything that I can change without having to go back through Senate approval, but I would get this pushed through and done. I'm not sure if that's easy with some of the deficit hawks that are there and then some of the people that are very moderate who don't like the rich people component of this. We're into wealth envy and shame in this country, and that's really what drove this political wedge in all of this, is wealth envy and shame is a destructive force, whereas we look at people with $10 million incomes and we go, they should be punished. Well, hell, they're paying most of the taxes already. So, I mean, if you're going to give a tax break to people at the bottom end, without a doubt, you're going to give a tax break to people at the top end. If you don't, then you're going to have zero impact in the economy. So all of that has to get worked through. I'm giving it at best 50-50 chance we have a bill on the president's desk by the end of the year. I hope I'm wrong and it's 80-20.
Brian, let me ask you this part of it, and then I'm going to have to run for today, but you've heard probably a lot of the Democrats say, and including Democrat strategists. One was on television this morning and said, this is the greatest thing for the Democratic Party because it will propel them at the midterms in 2018 into more leadership positions and help them in 2020. Do you buy that?
No, because the Democrat Party has kowtowed, for right or for wrong, to minority groups, and historically minorities don't vote at the same level in the midterm elections or see the gravity in those elections that do the voters that are more likely to align with Trump. It's a demographics thing. It's not a racial comment. It's just simple historical averages. That doesn't mean that Democrats can't pick up seats. It doesn't mean they can't take over the Senate or the House. It's up to Republicans whether they stay in power or not. But I think you're seeing the power really in Alabama. Here you have a guy that's 10 times accused of being something between a pedophile and a philanderer 40 years ago, and he's now up in the latest poll 6 points against a formidable Democrat. And so that is fairly telling. It's a very red state. It gave Trump the biggest victory of a Republican in 3 or 4 decades in that state, but nonetheless, it's telling when you get into when you get out of the anomalies that we've seen in politics where Democrats won, like in Virginia or New Jersey, where it's a blue state anyway, and you had Chris Christie going out. You get outside of those states, Democrats aren't completely in the toilet, but they're certainly not far from it.
Brian Crabtree, the publisher of Talk40.com, always welcome on this program. And by the way, Brian, Merry Christmas to you and yours, and please come back soon.
Merry Christmas. Great to be with you.
Thank you, sir. Very, very knowledgeable young man, Brian Crabtree, and talking about the tax reform and the budget, etc. Very interesting, and I hope he's right. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to remind you, too, real quick, that Let's Ride. What a great place to go shopping for your Christmas buying. Yeah, no kidding. What do you mean? Well, they've got all the accessories over there. Maybe somebody's really into snowmobiling, and by the way, they've got all the new 2018 snowmobiles over there. And maybe they need some of the accessories. Wow, have they got an accessory department over there for you? Or maybe the four-wheelers or the side-by-sides, or maybe they need some repair work done on their existing vehicles. They've got the best doggone service department around anywhere at Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 4. Let's Ride. Oh boy, it's true. Where the fun is sold. Really good folks. By the way, over there on that same Highway 24, just up the road a little bit, you'll find Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and more. Really dedicated and responsive to your needs. Please give them a call. Make an appointment today to make sure you, your family, and your business are covered. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. The number to call, 436-4424. The Professionals. All right, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I am waiting for your calls to start rolling in, I'd like to have our weather forecast. It's brought to you this hour by Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company, 2 locations, Burley and Rupert. Oh, we're getting closer and closer to the end of the year. You better make sure you got all your tax planning before the end of the year. And it's also time to get out your 1099s and your W-2s. So please get a hold of them today. They would also like to thank everyone out there for their business. Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company in Burley and Rupert. Right now, here's the weather.
Here's your weather forecast for the first Monday of November, and it is going to be on the windy side for today. We are looking at mostly sunny skies. Winds out of the west, 8 to 15 miles an hour. Gusts possible as high as 25 miles an hour. Looking at a high of 34 today. Tonight, mostly clear skies, cold. Low right around 15, still slightly breezy for tomorrow. Sunny skies, still on the breezy side, high of 34 tomorrow night. Patchy freezing fog after midnight. Other than that, mostly clear skies with a low right near 15 for Wednesday. Looks like patchy freezing fog before noon. Sunny skies, high of 35 for Wednesday night. Mostly clear with a low of 15. And for Thursday, sunny and a high of 37. That's your weather for Zebeth Ranch.
And thank you very much, Gina. Job well done, as always, in putting together our weather for Zebeth Ranch. And the weather brought to you this hour by Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. I mean, they've been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. They are absolutely the best, and they care, and they can help you. Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. Wishing you a very Merry Christmas. All right, like I said, calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. We'll talk about anything for the remainder of this hour that you have in mind. And I'd like to hear from you, so give us a jingle on the landline. Next hour, we're going to be talking to Maria Espinoza about the immigration problem, and Maria has more, I think, really in-depth remarks to make about this absolute stupid jury acquittal of the illegal alien in the Kate Steinle case. She's going to be on. And then we're going to talk about something that's so dangerous and so scary right now, and that's North Korea at 10:30 this morning with Dr. Ann Pierce. But your calls are welcome right now. Give me a jingle at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. As I've been saying, Merry Christmas from Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley, America's Diner. And they've teamed up, and we've got a great dynamic duo here, Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley with Jeff and the crew. Listen to this. You can go in there right now today and have breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and then go up to the cash register, take your receipt, sign it, sign your name, and put your telephone number on it, and you might be the lucky winner on December 14th when we have the drawing of a beautiful Flex Steel men's recliner, compliments of our friends at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More, along with our great big Denny's annual Christmas party that's going to be held there live and direct on Thursday, December 14th from 8 to 11. Door prizes, Santa Claus, register for the recliner. Wow, going to be a lot of fun. Don't miss it. That's coming up on December the 14th. All right, your turn. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587 on this National Cookie Day. Love cookies. Love cookies. I'm not a big fan of, all the chocolates and the candy and everything, but two things I really enjoy: Christmas cookies and ice cream. Those are my two favorite desserts. What about yours? Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I noticed that President Trump is in Utah today, and there's going to be a rollback, I hope a substantial rollback, in the Antiquities Act in the state of Utah that Obama threw on the great state of Utah and all their people, with severe cutbacks on use of their own land within their state. And President Trump in Utah today to try to get that thing fixed, and I hope he does. So, calls are welcome. Come on, give me a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. A couple of weeks ago, we had on the program Dan Perkins, and Dan is a highly knowledgeable radio guest, TV guest, etc., and commentator on what's going on in world events. But I got to tell you, at the end of the program, when we had Dan Perkins on the air the last time, he was telling us about a book that he had just written called Why Can't Grammy Remember Me? And it's all about older folks getting Alzheimer's and or dementia. And I tell you what, it's a very, very easy read, and it's an excellent book that answers a lot of questions for children, teenagers, and parents to really cope with the situation of, and it happens in so many families, Why Can't Grammy Remember Me by Dan Perkins. He sent me a copy of the book, and I got to tell you, it's one of the best reads I've ever read in regards to this subject. He did a wonderful job, and we're going to have Dan back on the air, I think, tomorrow, if I remember correctly. Wednesday. Wednesday, we're going to have him back at 9:30. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Deb. This thing in Salt Lake City, it showed that all these people are protesting about this Escalante staircase and that between Clinton and Obama closed down. Why are they protesting? This helps the economy of Utah.
That's right.
What's wrong with them?
That's right. And most of the protesters, and I do not know this to be a fact, but I'm going by past experiences, most of those so-called protesters are bought and paid for by the left and the environmental groups to stand there and arbitrate and harass people that are in favor of having a cutback on these Antiquities Acts. So believe me, I don't trust who these protesters are, but I certainly think, and I will stand behind the fact that they're getting a paycheck to stand out in the cold weather.
I wouldn't doubt that one bit, but the way they can portray it on TV is amazing because it looks like the whole city is there.
Yeah, but you know as well as I do that when it comes to the liberal left and their causes, and also the liberal media, there are certain camera angles and the way they have the camera on the lens, etc., that they can make you think that the entirety of all the nation, 350 million people, are against or for something. So believe me, don't let your eyes perceive what is basically a lie put on by environmentalists that are trying to fight the Antiquities Act as far as being cut back by this president.
But this Escalante staircase is really, really rich in coal.
Yep.
And that is really important to the United States.
Absolutely. And I applaud this president for going in there and looking at it from the viewpoint of, yes, we need to make protections. We need to keep protections in the Antiquities Act, especially with the Escalante staircase and also the Bears Ears National Park, etc., but also to realize that there are a lot of assets the good Lord gave this country that are there that we can use and not abuse.
Yeah, well, the politicians have proven that they are not good stewards of the land, and that's Republicans and Democrats that are causing this problem.
I agree.
Now, gosh darn it, like this Frank Church Wilderness in Idaho and the White Clouds. I've been in the White Clouds, and that's a beautiful area, and to restrict it to going in there and then have to gather up your horse dung and everything else like that, that is just ridiculous. Let people in there.
I couldn't agree more, Keith. I thank you for your call. I'm almost out of time, but thank you so much. Appreciate it again.
You bet. Bye.
All right, sir. Thank you. Don't forget that great big stock cow sale. I had a guy call during the last newscast, and he said, whoa, wait a minute. I didn't know about this. Well, I'm going to tell you again right now. Burley Livestock Sale Yard is going to have a special stock cow sale on Monday, December 11th, a week from today at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, starting at high noon. They're taking consignments right now. They're estimated to have well over 200 young cows, 150 middle-aged cows, cows of all ages, and taking consignments, Merv May, Lance Udy, Cade Rogge. Be sure and get a hold of them today. And if you want more information, you can call Merv at 431-5735. Great big stock cow sale coming up on Monday, December 11th at high noon, 12 noon, at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Don't you miss it. Going to be a dandy good sale. Always is with those guys, the sale that works for you. We are going to take a little break for a few minutes, and Old Wheels is going to get us all in the Christmas spirit right now with a little Christmas bumper music taking us up to news. I'll be back with more. One more hour to go on this Monday. Oh, morning. Welcome back on this Monday, December 4th. Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And, of course, our great advertisers like Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call them at 734-6969. Right now, I want to remind you quickly some very Merry Christmas wishes from Golden Valley Warehouse at 468 West, 1000 South of Burley. Number to call, 678-7324. Absolutely wishing all their customers a very Merry Christmas. They're in the business of selling quality seed to quality people. Golden Valley Warehouse. And our friend Tim and the rest of the crew at Streamline Precision, 120 South, 100 West of Burley. They can build anything from dairy parlors, dairy barns, free stalls, robotic barns, everything. All you need to do is just give them a call. They can help make you successful. That's Streamline Precision in Burley, 678-9204. Joe Taylor, the world's best doggone real estate agent at 425 Overland in Burley. One of the best in the business, buy or sell real estate. One call does it all to Joe Taylor at 678-9400. And last but not least, Clark's for Shopping at 100 East Main in Burley. Oh, these people are good. Absolutely, with that delicious grandma's recipe for that sausage in bulk patties or lengths. Wishing you a very Merry Christmas. Clark's for Shopping in Oakley. Right now, we're going to go to the phone line, and we had to cut this lady off a little short last week when she was on the program, and I absolutely think the world of her and her opinions regarding immigration, and I say good morning again to Maria Espinoza, National Director of the Remembrance Project. Maria, good morning, and thank you for coming back on.
Good morning, Zeb. Thank you so much for inviting me.
You know, Maria, during the time from last week until this week, we were all given an insight as to how horrendous a jury could be in a sanctuary city and give a total acquittal to an illegal alien that committed a murder. What are your thoughts about the Kate Steinle case?
Oh, that's just a terrible, terrible miscarriage of justice, Zeb, and I think it's a huge awakening to maybe the average American. Some of us in the illegal immigration battle, have known this for years, that illegal aliens get preferential treatment even when they commit crimes against citizens, and that's absolutely unacceptable, and I encourage all of your listeners to speak up and contact your elected officials and keep pressing them, because it does make a difference. The pressure that you can place on these elected officials is crucial to stop this insanity.
Where did this start, Maria? Give us kind of a thumbnail historical sketch, if you would, as to who, what, why, where, and how this idea, this insane idea of having sanctuary cities and basically being a safe haven for illegal aliens. Where did all this start, and who really instigated this?
Well, that's a good question. I believe it started in New York City, and I heard the Secretary of State for Kansas, Chris Kobach, talk about that at our national conference, and I had never really thought about, where it started, what city, but of course, New York is not certainly a champion of enforcing current laws, but, I think it started also because of the U.S. Chambers of Commerce, the Open Borders Group, the industries like the construction workers, hotel restaurant management, and of course on the Democrat side you have the voter bloc. And it's completely insane in my opinion. But you have people who want the votes. You have people on the other side who want the donations from these special interests, U.S. Chamber of Commerce type, so they can remain in office and get reelected. So, and the loser in all this is the American citizen, the American taxpayer. As you know, these illegal aliens obtain social benefits. They've never paid into the system. These benefits should go to our veterans, to our elderly, and those who are truly in need. So it's very backwards right now, and sanctuary cities create such a danger in our society. And, we never know when we can be a victim, Zeb, and just like Kate Steinle, walking along Pier 14 in San Francisco, enjoying a beautiful day with her father. Never even entered her mind that this could take place. It never entered into any of our minds that something like this could take place and get away with it, like you said.
Yeah. When you watched the verdict being handed down, I don't know if you were glued to the TV. I was. I could not wait to see what was going to happen. I thought at a minimal that this man would have a verdict of guilty on manslaughter. And when I heard that he was innocent on all counts, and the only thing they got him on was a felon in possession of a weapon, I about fell out of the chair. I could not believe this kind of a travesty of justice.
Right. And I can tell you this. When I was in San Francisco, we had a press conference there on Pier 14. a year and a half ago, and I attended the first hearing, I did hear this defense attorney state that this was an accident, and that's what his defense was going to be. And as liberal as San Francisco is, I was glued to the television as well. I was very disappointed with the outcome. However, I wasn't shocked because of the words that this defense attorney stated, and also because San Francisco remains the sanctuary city to this day.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Maria, and this is a speculation question. I have no bona fide reason to say this, but I'm just going to ask. Does it intimate to you that possibly somebody or some group of somebodies on behalf of San Francisco and the sanctuary city status got to the jury and that's why they had the acquittal?
Well, I like your thought process because that occurred to me as well. So I would like, I shouldn't call for this, but I would like to know if there was any type of persuasion going on the jurors, of the jurors. So, it may be, Zeb, it's so difficult for us with common sense to view as unbelievably shocking, so maybe that's why we think this way. Certainly common sense was not used in this verdict.
Let me ask you this question. If this kind of activity and if this kind of blatant disrespect for our laws, our Constitution, and quite frankly, you and me, our taxpayers, is allowed to flourish and go to more cities, we might as well just stand here and give up because there's no hope left for this country.
Well, there's a lot more of us who are law-abiding Americans than there are of these liberal people who do not like our country, I believe, and who are hell-bent on ruining it and think that flooding our nation with illegal aliens and refugees, supposedly from other countries, who will absolutely not assimilate into our society and our values in our American way. So I say there's no way we should give up. There's no way that we should even have that thought. But I can see that over the years, some of us do grow a little disappointed at what's taking place. However, with our speaking out and pressuring these elected officials, they will change their ways and follow what's right, follow the law, and support our Constitution. Just think about how many elected officials on different levels of government have grown a backbone since President Trump was elected.
That part is really true, but you mentioned something that I wanted to highlight also, in addition to the Kate Steinle absolutely ridiculous verdict, and that's the refugees coming into this country. We are an area as to where they're being promoted to come into southern Idaho. And where does the American people, not all Americans, but a lot of the liberal Americans think that, oh my goodness, this is great for our economy, it's great for our local as far as diversity is concerned, different cultures. Don't they realize that these refugees coming in are getting basically a free ride on housing, healthcare, education, etc., and we're all on the hook for that money? And really, what's the benefit to you, me, my family, my wife? What's the benefit to us, the taxpayers? I say nothing.
You're right. There's no benefit, and we don't know who these refugees are, and no way to vet them. And I would, if it was up to me, I would absolutely stop this all immigration into our country until we find out who's here. Take a look at the jihadist in New York City. He brought in 23 family members, probably with the same belief system as he has. And, where are they? Who's watching them? I think that should be an automatic expulsion from our country. We have to focus on keeping our community safe, our country safe, and citizens safe first and foremost. And at this moment, it's not being done. Zeb, also, Idaho is on the FBI's, high crime, high gang list. I don't know if you knew that, but drugs is very, very bad there in Idaho, in a small state as it is.
Right.
Obviously, there's some illegal aliens who have targeted your state. So, Idahoans are not safe whatsoever.
Is it, in your opinion, Maria, that we're naive, or are we just turning our head the other way to look out a different window? I mean, what is the matter with the general populace today that we're accepting this and not doing anything about it?
I think that they're not receiving the correct information. Media is not being truthful, and as I can turn the television on and take a look at the local news stations, they all say the same thing. They're all anti-President Trump, and they're all embracing illegal aliens as if it's okay to break our laws. Maybe it's okay for illegals in their minds, but what about the killings that are taking place across the United States? They're culpable as well. They have a responsibility and duty as journalists to give the American public the truth, and they're simply not doing that. So it is incumbent upon each one of us to research and know and be educated of what's taking place so that you can make good decisions when you go in that voting booth. But I also want to invite your listeners to email us on our website, www.theremembranceproject.org, and send me an email, and what we can do is send you a link or give you the names of all of your elected officials so that you can put them on your speed dial and pressure them. Be polite but stern with them. Otherwise, look, Zeb, we're going to be in a worse situation than we are, and San Francisco's cancer, it will spread everywhere.
And this political haranguing as far as Feinstein and Pelosi and all the others, Schumer, etc., Bill de Blasio in New York, I mean, sooner or later, you would think the American public would see through this, like I used the terminology the other day when you were on the program, the old Western village with the false front buildings. But I'm concerned that the American public isn't outraged over what's being done. And how do you get that sense of outrage so they slam their fist on the desk and say, okay, Mr. Congressman, Mr. Senator, that is enough?
Right. And I've been there. I've been to meetings and listened and, gone to town halls and listened to my elected officials. And, that my questions weren't getting answered. And, it was intense. So, we got busy and went to work and started, spreading the word and talking to neighbors and friends and other groups, and that turned into a nationwide effort. So I think that we have to continue the pressure. Otherwise, they think, well, they're just going to, go home, win, and just leave me alone. But that they have to, the elected officials have to know that you're going to be right there on them, and you want the answer, and you want them to do the right thing. And that's our recourse.
Let me ask you this final thought here this morning in regards to Donald Trump. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not so good, 10 being really good, are you optimistic about the next 3 years of his presidency, and is he meeting or exceeding some of your expectations?
He's meeting and exceeding, Zev, and I'll tell you why. He is doing all he can to keep his promises during the campaign. We have to understand that there are obstructionists like the Speaker Paul Ryan, leader of the House for the Republican Party, and what is he doing? He's doing everything he can to throw up roadblocks. He's for DACA. He wants amnesty. Our president has stated he does not want amnesty, and rightfully so. This is what the people are supporting him on, the wall, and enforcing current laws, enforcing our borders, and placing America first. And President Trump's America First agenda is right on target. We have to remove those individuals who will not work with our president and will not place Americans first and protecting our country as well. So we certainly support President Trump, and we're going to do everything that we can to help him fulfill his campaign promises.
And one of the things I'd like to stress at the end of this segment right now is that the remembranceproject.org, I mean, you're out there working for us, but yet it takes money. And how can people help your organization?
Yes, go to our website. You gave it, www.theremembranceproject.org, and your listeners will have to type in our full email address. There are some major search engines that have suppressed the search for our website. That means that we're having an impact, Zeb. And make a donation of any amount, $5, $10, $20 a month, reoccurring. It helps us keep the lights on and continue our work for, like you mentioned, for many Americans.
You know, Maria, I've got one other question before I let you go, and about the Remembrance Project. Was it your brainchild, or was it a group of people? I mean, what caused you to get so involved with, I think, a very worthwhile project like the Remembrance Project?
Well, it was my husband, Tim Ling, and I just heard a news report here in Houston, Texas, about an officer who was killed by an illegal. And the news report mentioned another officer who had previously been killed by an illegal alien, and his widow filed a lawsuit against the city. Well, after some research, we found out that the lawsuit was about the sanctuary city policies in place here. So we had never heard of sanctuary city policies and thought it was just insane that illegal aliens have a safe haven here. And that's really what started. My husband started a database and did some research in Texas, killings by illegal aliens, and expanded that all across the United States. And we learned that it was an epidemic of killings. And we decided that, the news was not doing its job. Elected officials didn't care, and they lied about being sanctuary city policies here in Texas. So we created the Stolen Lives Quilt banners in order to show the public what was taking place right here in our country. All of the killings are 100% preventable. So basically, that's how we started.
Wow.
And that's why I know that everyone out there can make a difference. You don't have to have a whole group of people, and we are completely volunteer. My husband was a civil engineer and now has retired, so any donations will certainly be put to good use as we have in the past. But, we can make a difference, Zeb, and you just want to have the will to do that.
Absolutely. My hat is off to this lovely lady, her husband, and all that they do. The remembranceproject.org. Maria Espinoza, National Director, thank you so much. And as I stated the other day, Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Merry Christmas to you too, Zeb, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Wonderful lady right there. Hold on a second. I'm losing my voice. And I thank again Maria Espinoza, the National Director of the Remembrance Project. Thank you very much. Sanctuary cities, breaking the law, protecting illegal aliens, protecting the crimes that they have committed, it's got to stop. It has got to stop. We're going to do all we can on this program to be a big fly in the milk against that ilk, if you will. I got to pay some bills, and I want to remind you about Senator Kelly Anthon, and he wishes you and yours a very Merry Christmas. That's right. Here's a senator that really, really cares about his constituents, and it shows. Very diligent and hardworking, and we've really enjoyed having Kelly on our program many, many times during the year. Well, Senator Kelly Anthon from Rupert, his family, and his staff, they all wish you a very Merry Christmas. Thank you very much. Also, I'd like to remind everybody about our friends, and we have two sponsors of Cassia County School Days. One, of course, A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. They've got all kinds of clothing in there for the family, and they've got all the baby furniture and all the games and the toys and the puzzles, and free gift wrapping, too. If you gift wrap like I do, believe me, a store that gift wraps, that's really handy. So stop in in today and do a lot of your holiday shopping for Christmas at A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. And along with the Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley, life-saving colonoscopies and cataract surgery, carpal tunnel surgery, all of this and so much more. And they can save you money on your outpatient surgeries. Call them and find out. 677-8888. 677-8888. Ambulatory Surgery Center in Burley, along with the Child's World, bringing you school days in Cassia County, Thursdays at 10:10. That really has turned into one of our outstanding segments and well listened to, and thank you very much. By the way, if you're getting ready to go Christmas shopping, you're going to make a day of it. Oh, I know a place to go. I know one of my favorite places to go for Christmas shopping, Sportsman's Warehouse. Oh, my goodness, I urge you to stop in at Sportsman's Warehouse at 1940 Bridgeview in Twin Falls. Reese and the rest of the crew ready to serve you. They've got all kinds of goodies there for you at Sportsman's Warehouse. And what I like about Sportsman's Warehouse, they've got experts in every single department. Absolutely, people that really know, whether you're in there buying a knife, or whether you're in there buying fishing equipment, or whether you're in there buying hunting and shooting archery equipment, whatever it might be, they know. And I urge you to stop in and visit with them today, because Sportsman's Warehouse is your Christmas shopping headquarters at 1940 Bridgeview in Twin Falls. And don't forget, too, the Bucks and Bulls contest ends December 31st, and it's the 12th annual Bucks and Bulls will be held on January 20th. I'll have more details in the future with Reese over there at Sportsman's Warehouse in Twin Falls. Great place to shop for Christmas. Right now, we're going to send it back over to our main studio. Old Wheels is going to pick up the slack. We'll be back in about 3 minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
And a Merry Christmas wish goes out again from our dear friend, Speaker of the House, Representative Scott Bedke. Scott, of course, from a ranching family that understands the land, and they understand the folks that live here in the great state of Idaho. And he wants to take the time and the effort to make sure that all of you know you're appreciated, and he wishes you and yours a very Merry Christmas from Speaker Scott Bedke and his family. Also, we're very blessed to have Representative Fred Wood from right here in this area. He really cares about you and your family. He understands all about the growth and the problems in Idaho and how he wants to help address those in the next legislative session. Don't forget, this man wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas, Representative Fred Wood and his family. Right now, let's go to the phone line, and I'm very honored to have this lady back on the program. She is a contributor to the Washington Times and author of the book A Perilous Path, The Misguided Foreign Policy of Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and John Kerry. That kind of sums it up. And we're going to talk about a subject that scares me this morning, and that is North Korea. Dr. Ann Pierce, good morning, and thank you for being on the program.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Dr. Pierce, as a father and a grandfather and a very proud citizen of this great United States of America, I guess I'm going to tell you that I'm a little bit more than worried about North Korea, and I think that we're not giving it due diligence as far as worrying about them. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right. I mean, what we've seen in recent years is the exponential progress of North Korea's nuclear and ballistic missile programs. So the most recent intercontinental ballistic missile test was a big one. The missile is said by experts to be a monster in size. It flew 2,800 miles into space, then landed in waters off Japan, and this trajectory means it could reach anywhere in the U.S. Of course, there are questions about the heat shield, but given how rapidly North Korea is progressing with all its technology related to nuclear weapons, there's no reason to be complacent about that. And then if you pair that with other tests recently, in September you had a nuclear test which put that nuclear weapon clearly in the range of a powerful hydrogen bomb. And then also in September, you had intermediate range missiles successfully tested, and it appeared by then that surface-to-air missiles were being put into mass production in that country. So we have a lot of reason to be alarmed. This is something we should all be taking seriously and paying a lot of attention to.
Well, Dr. Pierce, let me kind of piecemeal this thing together a little bit. First of all, the scientists and the missile experts and those that understand detonation of a possible and potential nuclear weapon, are all of these people North Koreans, or are there outsiders infiltrated into the midst to try to create havoc?
Yeah, no, well, there are just all kinds of ways the experts are keeping an eye on the weapons. And, yeah, definitely not just in North Korea, but satellite images really help. And I'm no weapons expert. When I actually start talking about weapons themselves, I feel like I'm going into uncharted territory. So I like to refer to certain weapons experts that I have found really reliable and willing to call it like it is. And it's just a shame that we are in this point once again, because what better example of what does not work in American foreign policy than North Korea today? I mean, it's at this point, the administration is engaging in this all-out maximum pressure campaign on North Korea. And that campaign includes stepping up military exercises and coordination with South Korea and Japan, accelerating missile defenses to the region, working with Congress on stronger sanctions. They've succeeded in getting the strongest UN Security Council resolutions to date. And, of course, all these trips to Asia that we see by Tillerson and McMaster and Trump himself are partly designed to create basically a coalition effort to deter North Korea and to change its calculus, and to get, for example, countries like Thailand to stop allowing North Korean front companies in their countries. But you look at this, and it's such a sad exercise to think about what might be now if we had imposed the strongest sanctions a long time ago instead of having to play catch-up. And you just look at history and you think, when are we ever going to finally learn not to wait until the threat is grave to apply extreme pressure on extremist aggressor regimes? And then we find ourselves in this game of catch-up, and you just find yourself hoping it's not too little too late at this point.
How far back, in your opinion, and you wrote the book called The Perilous Path, The Misguided Foreign Policy, and you named Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and John Kerry, but does it go back farther than them? Is this problem been exacerbated by previous, whether it's Bush 1 and 2 or Clinton? How far back does this go?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely goes back to Clinton. That nuclear deal, in my opinion, gave away too much, received far too little, and placed naive faith that, for example, if we gave North Korea heavy water in exchange for it supposedly stopping its program, that North Korea would actually abide by that agreement. So I look back across the administrations, and I see this continuous hope that negotiations and engagement with North Korea can work. The one difference I would call out is that by the time Obama came to power, George W. Bush had given up on negotiations. He was hosting North Korean escapees, dissidents in the White House, and I think that the sensible experts who were looking at it by that point were finally saying, okay, this has not worked. This effort to try to get North Korea to the negotiating table has clearly not worked. So what is especially telling about the Obama, Clinton, and Kerry period is that even in the face of that evidence, they continued to throw out the idea of one carrot after another if only North Korea would come back to the negotiating table, as if North Korea ever had negotiated in good faith. And no matter how many times North Korea backed out of negotiations, refused to participate in negotiations, or blatantly violated previous negotiated terms, their approach was reliant upon the idea that somehow, some way, negotiations would solve this problem. And in the meantime, as I said, what we saw was the exponential progress of North Korea's nuclear and missile programs. So when people say we need to get back to negotiations because sanctions have already been tried, my response to that is no, sanctions were only applied incrementally and minimalistically in the past. We never even scratched the surface of all the pressure we could have put on North Korea by rallying allies and using our own leverage to its fullest extent. But what was tried in the past again and again was to get North Korea to the negotiating table and to get a viable negotiation. So I think this maximum pressure campaign is absolutely essential, and it's important to note that that campaign is an attempt to avoid war. I mean, in spite of Trump's bombastic rhetoric, the attempt of this administration's campaign is to avoid war because we do not want nuclear war, obviously.
Dr. Pierce, when you say that we do not want nuclear war, I mean, I'm an old man, and I remember vividly the major threat when I was in high school with Nikita Khrushchev and John F. Kennedy over the Cuban Missile Crisis. I can remember seeing my mom and dad down at the kitchen table in the downstairs part of our house, sitting there just worrying about what was going to happen or what might not happen. I can remember everybody just really strained and watching what they said. And fortunately, that was averted. This problem seems like North Korea absolutely is pushing the envelope, and they're the little dog that wants to bite everybody. How in the world at this point will diplomacy ever work?
Yeah, I just don't think it will. And boy, but are we played with our naive faith in diplomacy in the West. It's really concerning to me that North Korea just today, or it was just in the news today, came out with a statement saying, well, we will agree to negotiations after all, as long as Russia is the mediator and is the chief orchestrator of the talks. And oh my goodness, what a horrible scenario that is. We only need to look at Syria, where Russia did orchestrate talks. And, excuse me. And again and again and again, those talks served no other purpose than propping up Assad, buying Assad time, often when time was running out. And Russia was able to play the West, and particularly John Kerry, like a fiddle. And so the last thing we want to do is to go along with some Russian plan.
What about China and Russia, though? Dr. Pierce, when you look at the overall situation with North Korea, a little bitty country that has a gross national product probably the size of Rhode Island as far as output to make money for their country, they've got to be handed big checks from somebody. Is it China? Is it Russia? Are they the ones that are trying to goad us, the United States, into a nuclear holocaust so they can step in? I mean, I don't understand why this little country, North Korea, and the little fat man with bad hair is so completely naive to think that that wouldn't be total suicide.
Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Oh boy, getting over a cold here.
I understand.
Yeah, I don't think that China wants all hell to break loose on the Korean Peninsula. I think that's the last thing they want. They've worked very hard over there to what they're trying to do over there is to upend our role as the post-World War II guarantor of stability. And China's ambitions are just vast right now. It not only wants to be the leader in that part of the world and is frenetically building islands and militarizing them all over the South China Sea, but its ambitions extend way beyond that to Asia and Africa and the Middle East and beyond. So I don't think China wants any war, especially nuclear war, to disrupt that. And but on the other hand, China plays it both ways because China sees North Korea as a buffer between itself and South Korea and Japan, and between what China sees as very threatening pro-democracy movements. So China plays it both ways. It, on the one hand, subsidizes North Korea, and speaking of weapons experts, they do see evidence of Chinese technology in North Korea's weapons themselves. And so China plays a very clever game, and that is why the administration has, to its credit, managed to get the toughest Security Council resolutions to date, where China did agree to tougher sanctions than it had in the past. But China is still refusing to suspend oil exports to North Korea, which is absolutely essential to North Korea's economy. So there's still a lot of ways that we need to pressure China, because it is no doubt an enabler and a sponsor of North Korea.
Dr. Pierce, looking back over your shoulder in total speculation of what might have been if Hillary Clinton had won the presidency, where would we be, in your opinion, with the same problem with North Korea today?
Well, in my book, A Perilous Path, I have a chapter on North Korea and what Obama and Clinton did when they came to power was they offered to normalize relations with North Korea, which is, in my mind, absolutely outrageous, not only in light of North Korea's bellicose activities and statements, but its weapons programs, but also especially at that point in terms of North Korea's just absolutely grave human rights violations. I mean, in my book, I say it's not just that North Korea has camps. You could look at that whole country as one big camp. The oppression and the suffering of the North Korean people is just unimaginable, and it just gives the lie to that phrase after World War II, never again. So the fact that Hillary Clinton was a full part of offering to normalize relations with that brutal regime, and that when she took her Asia tour, she actually downplayed human rights in China and was very careful not to criticize North Korea. I mean, I think that tells you a lot about her approach. And so I would assume that it would be even worse. I mean, in her campaign, she tried to act like the peace through strength candidate and tried to act like she was a person who stood up for American ideals, and of course she played the Russian card all the way through and into post-election. But if you look at her actual record, there's no evidence that she is a person who really believes in the best American foreign policy traditions.
Absolutely.
You know, in my opinion, the best foreign policy is an all of the above policy. It emphasizes peace through strength and human rights, and it also emphasizes national security and global stability. And I don't see how you could look at Hillary Clinton's record and say that she emphasized any of that.
As an expert on these subjects and a great author writing about the perilous path, on a 1 to 10 scale, 1 being not so much, 10 being look out, someone's got their finger on the button, in your opinion, where are we right now with this North Korea standoff?
I wouldn't want to give a number, but I agree with people in the administration who are saying that these latest tests bring us closer to war. Nikki Haley used those words in the UN, and others are warning that we are being forced closer to war. And I just certainly hope we can avoid that, and everyone, I think, is hoping we can avoid that. And so that maximum pressure campaign needs to add new components, and we need to do everything possible we can to try to avoid that scenario.
Absolutely. Your book, The Perilous Path, The Misguided Foreign Policy of Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and John Kerry. Please tell us, Dr. Pierce, where people can find that for this shopping season.
Yeah, it's on the online booksellers, Barnes & Noble and Amazon, and local booksellers, too, that are online. And then I do have a website that has information about that book, and also I have posted a lot of the articles that I've written for various magazines and newspapers, foreign policy articles, on my website. So That is Ann with an E, middle initial R, Pierce.com.
Dr. Ann Pierce, I want to thank you so much for being on the program this morning. I urge my listeners to get that book, Perilous Path. God bless you. Merry Christmas, and please come back in the future.
Oh, thanks a lot. Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you. Wonderful lady, very, very insightful lady as to what really is going on with North Korea and the United States and the perilous path, if you will, to a possible war with North Korea. Thank you, Dr. Ann Pierce. Wow, it is spooky. Very spooky. Right now, it's time for the weather, brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, with Don Scarrow and the crew. Hello, Don. You know, I tell you, every time I do their commercial, I get really hungry because they've got smoked turkey and marinated prime rib. Oh, knock your boots off delicious. Smoked hams, and then all the different kinds of bacon and the bratwurst. It's phenomenal. You're going to love all the meats in their retail meat department at Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Number to call, 324-7657, or you can go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com. Delicious Scarrows Meats. Right now, here's the weather.
Here's your weather forecast for the first Monday of November, and it is going to be on the windy side for today. We are looking at mostly sunny skies. Winds out of the west, 8 to 15 miles an hour. Gusts possible as high as 25 miles an hour. Looking at a high of 34 today. Tonight, mostly clear skies, cold. Low right around 15, still slightly breezy for tomorrow. Sunny skies, still on the breezy side, high of 34 tomorrow night. Patchy freezing fog after midnight. Other than that, mostly clear skies with a low right near 15 for Wednesday. Looks like patchy freezing fog before noon. Sunny skies, high of 35 for Wednesday night. Mostly clear with a low of 15. And for Thursday, sunny and a high of 37. That's your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
All right, Gina, thank you, and brought to you by our friends. Don, I got to get Don over here someday to go on the radio, and I'll tell him, hey, Don, if you're on the way, bring some of that marinated prime rib. Oh, delicious. Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time at Scarrows Meats. Fantastic. You know what? I got to tell some more Christmas wishes here on the program before I get ready to go. And Merry Christmas wishes from Magic Valley Carpet at 613 D Street in Oakland. Well, wait a minute. What am I doing? Magic Valley Carpet, 613 D Street in Rupert. There I am. I got to get on the same page with my mind, which sometimes doesn't happen. Magic Valley Carpet, if you need new carpet before you have all the holiday folks over and all the different little cookie parties and everything, be sure and get a hold of them today. Magic Valley Carpet in Rupert. Really, really nice people serving you and wishing you a very Merry Christmas. Butte Irrigation at 116 South and 600 West of Paul, and also at Red Cap Corner on Kimberly Road in Kimberly, wish you a very Merry Christmas. They're your Zematic dealer, and they will get you wet for all your irrigation needs. Don't forget, Butte Irrigation, course over in Paul and on Kimberly Road in Kimberly, wishing you a Merry Christmas. And last but not least, Streamline Precision, 120 South, 100 West of Burley. And Tim and the rest of the crew, they can do it all. Manufacturing, material handling, food-grade equipment, conveyors, commodity mixing, everything. Just give Tim a call at 431-7314 or the main office, 678-9204. Streamline Precision in Burley. Really good folks, wishing you and yours Merry Christmas. Tomorrow on the program, let's take a look here real quick. We have got a jam-packed 5 segments. We're going to have a lady by the name of Mona Fishman come on our program. Eric Schiffer is due on our program. Damian Schiff with the Pacific Legal Foundation. And, of course, my old buddy, emphasis on the word old, Dr. History will be here, along with all your phone calls. Don't miss that tomorrow on Zeb at the Ranch. Real quick reminder, Denny's annual Christmas party is going to be Thursday, December 4th. We're going to be over there broadcasting live and direct for the entirety of the program from 8 to 11. Don't forget, we're going to have door prizes and Santa Claus, and register for the recliner from Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Thank you, Jeff, at 459 Overland in Burley. All you have to do is just get in there, sign your receipt, your meal receipt, and put your phone number, and you might be the lucky winner of that beautiful Flex Steel men's recliner. Ho, it's going to be dandy. Thank you. Denny's Restaurant and Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More teaming up to make it a really good Merry Christmas. By the way, also our thank yous go out to our major sponsor, and that's your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Get ready for wintertime driving. I had to drive home from church on Sunday morning, and it was a good reminder of how slushy and nasty the roads are going to get. They've got all the tires with all the different tread designs for you and your winter driving. In your cars, pickups, and SUVs, stop in and check out all the tires today. Also, they've got all the tire chains. And don't forget, they've got the best of highly trained technicians for your brake service, front-end alignment, shocks and struts, and, of course, your batteries. You've got to have a good battery in the cold winter mornings. Check it out with any of the 7 locations: Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley. I bet he's glad the Seahawks won yesterday. Don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Absolutely the best. Wheels, how's everything going? Have you been doing any Christmas shopping yet?
I haven't. I was hoping to go to Twin today, but I'm sure my family either decided not to or they went while I was at work, but I'm probably going to have to do something.
Well, you have failed to call after the show and asked me, well, Zeb, what do you need? And I have a list made up for you, young man. So just call any time and I'll supply that information to you.
I would love to do that, but what's the spirit in Christmas if you have to tell the person what you're getting them?
Touché. Thank you. Okay, buddy.
Just so you know, I am getting you guys something. I know you guys have been really nice to me over these last years that I've been here.
Well, I'll tell you what, right back at you, and don't you think for a minute that we haven't devised a plan to get you something that you really need, and it has to do with a whole bunch of bungee cords. I've come up with an idea to get you into that studio really easy on those cold, icy mornings, but hopefully my testing will not fail and we can make it work.
Well, I'm going to assume that it's a homemade catapult by
somewhat. We're looking for a crash dummy to try to test it out, and so far no volunteers. I got to run, but we'll talk about it tomorrow morning. And you have a great day. Everybody have a great day. Tune in tomorrow morning at 8:06 and more Zeb at the Ranch, where we always say the way things were or the way things ought to be. God bless.